Come on in, come on in. Welcome to another teaching on the Prophetic Seer. If you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Deborah, the founder of the Writers Inkhorn International. And on today, I'm going to continue on the series of Prophetic Seers because I believe that God is shifting me. He's wanting me to do more mentorship and training on the topic of prophetic seeing. And so on today, I have my notes here, and I will not be with you long. I'm going to be talking to you about the 7 types of prophetic seer. The 7 types of prophetic seers. What I want you to understand is this. Even though you may fit nice and neatly in one particular type, do not limit God, because God may cause you to hear in one season and see in another. If you're a nabi prophet, meaning that you bubble up through inspiration, you hear God's voice in your spirit, doesn't mean that you can't see him. And just because you primarily see God doesn't mean that you don't hear him. It's just a different way that God releases his revelation to his servants, the prophets. So, if you've ever wondered, what type of prophet am I? Maybe you didn't even wonder that. Maybe you just thought, oh, I'm a seer. I know God shows me things. I dream a lot. But you never really thought about the different types of prophetic seers. Well, today I hope that I can help you clarify that just a little bit more. Beginning with the first seer type, and that is the dream seer. These are seers who primarily receive revelation through their dreams. When you are a dream seer, you want to make sure that you keep a dream journal, that you document what God is showing you in the night season. These type of seers primarily, as I said, receive revelation through their dreams. It can be through the night season or just whenever you fall asleep. It can be in the daytime, it can be in the afternoon. It doesn't necessarily have to be at nighttime. God will deal with this type of seer when they are resting, when they are not so busy during the day. There's things he wants to say to them. And the best way to do it is when they are at rest in the night season. He uses this time to reveal his plans, warnings, and encouragement. I know that God deals with me a lot in dreams and in visions. That's another type of seer. But going back to dreams, I remember the time when God had given me a dream about something that was going on at work. Whenever he gave me a dream about that, I would either see some type of tornado or some type of storm coming toward the building that I worked in. Well, this was a warning dream. God was using this to warn and prepare me. Another example can be found in Job 33, verses 14 through 16, which says, "For God may speak one way or in another, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men while slumbering on their beds, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction." So if you are a dream seer, be sure to track your dreams in a dream journal. The second type of seer is the visionary seer. These are the type of seers that receive open or inner visions while they are awake. They may see symbols, images, heavenly beings, glimpses of future events. You can find an example of this in Isaiah 62 verse 6, which says, I have set watchmen on your wall, O Jerusalem. They shall never hold their peace day or night. And then another one is in Ezekiel 1 verse 16. A visionary seer will be wide awake. There was another example of a visionary seer. Sometimes you'll see shadows and you see movements. God is showing you something. Pay attention when he shows you. Your eyes can be wide awake. You're alert. But he'll take you sometimes in a trance. There's some people who have actually gone to heaven. These are visionary seer types. God will just translate them. A trance is like when they are actually seeing like a movie playing out. I was driving one day and I remember it was a beautiful Saturday. And I was heading toward the mall here in the Memphis, Tennessee region. And I'm driving and all of a sudden I get an open eye vision of a huge wedge tornado hovering over what looked like the suburbs, which was on the other side of the mall area. Well, I was kind of like startled because when God gives a visionary seer or a dream seer anything, it's not forced. It's not a forced act. It just happens when he wants it to happen. So I'm driving and I see this and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it was so real, but the day was beautiful. Well, the year was 2008, and that was the year when that tornado hovered over the suburb area. And then it eventually shifted and moved, and that was the year it hit Jackson, Tennessee. So that's one type of seer. The second type. The third type is a symbolic seer. These are seers who receive revelation through symbols, parables, or imagery that require interpretation. God will often or sometimes hides messages in pictures and metaphors. This is when he wants the seer to seek out that information. He doesn't give it to you clearly. It can be a symbol of some sort. I know for me, one of the symbols that I have learned is the numbers 911. When this symbol appears, it appears multiple times. Like recently, it's been appearing multiple times. I'll look at the clock and it's exactly 911. I'll look at my phone and it's exactly 911. I'll buy something at the store and the receipt is 911. A car would jump in front of me and it's 911. I have learned over time that the 911 is a call for prayer, that there's something about to take place on the earth that requires intercession. So we are in a time when we need to be praying and staying prayerful. An example of the symbolic seer is in Amos, can be found in Amos 8 verse 2. It says, and he said, what do you see, Amos? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. Then the Lord said to me, the end has come upon my people Israel. I will not pass by them anymore. So if you are a symbolic seer, seek God for clarification. Write down what you see, but seek him for clarification. Also, sometimes if I'm praying with someone, I know I've been at conferences and I'm praying with people, and I'll see visions in his or symbols or something. And I may not understand what it means, but when I shared with that person, they know exactly what I mean. The fourth type of seer is an angelic seer. And these type of seers encounter angelic messengers who deliver revelation, guidance, or prophetic instruction. And scripture example can be found in Zechariah 5, verse 5. And it says, then the angel who talked with me came out and said to me, lift your eyes now and see what this is that goes forth. These type of seers see angels. Daniel saw an angel messenger who delivered something. He was trying to find out what was going on and what this meant. And the angel Michael, Archangel Michael, had to come in and intervene. Daniel saw angels. And again, I want to emphasize, just because you see angels does not mean that you can't see God in dreams, or he won't speak to you in visions, or he won't give you a trance, or he won't give you a symbol. These are just types of prophetic seers, and that is their primary way of seeing. Another seer is again the trance seer. This seer enters into a trance-like state when their natural senses are suspended and they see deeply into the realm of the spirit. I feel like sometimes that happens to me, especially if I'm sitting in a meeting and someone's talking. Because I am a prophetic seer, I see what the person is saying, and I'll see it sometimes in the form of a movie. It plays out like a movie. So sometimes I may laugh at something that may seem like it's serious, because God is showing me something totally different than what they are saying. An example of this can be found in Acts 10, verse 9 through 11. And it says, Peter went up on the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. Then he became very hungry and wanted to eat. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance and saw heaven open. When you go in a trance and you're a trance seer, you have to be very careful. I know sometimes when I was younger, especially, and someone would be driving a car and God would just take me into a trance. Just take me into a trance, and I would see things. And sometimes I would have to kind of guard what I was seeing and bring myself back, because I would go into this movie, like I thought it was daydreaming, but it's called a trance. So the 5th one is a trance seer. But again, you have to understand, a trance is not the same as a visionary seer. Visionary seers see with their eyes wide open. It is what it is. It's a still picture. It's not like a movie. A trance will take you like into a whole movie. The 6th one is the heavenly realm seer. These seers are caught up into heavenly encounters, seeing the throne room, heavenly beings, and future events in the spirit. An example of this can be found in Revelations 4, verse 1, which says, After these things I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking to me, saying, Come up here, and I will show you things which must take place after this. Read the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is an example of John, who was or can be classified as a heavenly realm seer. These type of seers, God will take into heaven. Don't ask me how. I'm just telling you. God has a way of connecting with seers in different ways. The 7th seer is called the watchman seer. And I also believe that this is what God has called me into. You see, all prophets are seers. All prophets are watchmen, but not all watchmen are prophets, and not all watchmen are seers. And let me explain. When I talk about watchmen, a watchman can be like the Weather Channel man, or someone who studies the space or the atmosphere. I call them space weathermen. They learn by patterns. Okay, every year at this time, the sun rises about this time, or it sets about this time, or it gets darker. They're watching a specific area in nature, or in the weather, or in the skies. But when it comes to the watchman seer, they are positioned on the walls of prayer and intercession. They're watching in the spirit for warnings, instructions, and directions for God's people. Ezekiel 3, verse 17 says, Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the house of Israel. Therefore, hear a word from my mouth and give them a warning from me. You see, when it comes to the watchman seer, They are called to sound forth the trumpet, to cry aloud and spare not. A watchman seer is positioned on the walls of prayer and intercession. And there are also times when the watchman cannot share anything. But when God tells them to warn, they must warn. And some people get afraid of the watchman seer. They get afraid of all types of seers. They feel like the seer can peer into their life. They're not peering in unless God instructs them to. And if they do, it's to bring correction. So, in closing, the 7 types of watchman seers reveal the many ways God speaks through sight, whether through dreams, visions, symbols, or heavenly encounters. Every seer's role is to align with the word of God and release his truth with accuracy. And this is one of the reasons why I'm inviting people, those who are interested in becoming more equipped as a prophetic seer, to join my mentorship group. I believe that this is the hour when prophetic seers must come forth, or if believers who want to see into how God uses them in their dreams or their visions. This is an opportunity, and I put the link below so that you can register for the upcoming class. You see, I believe firmly that it is God who trains the prophet. It is God who trains the seer. The prophet in Samuel, who is once called a seer. But you see, God deals with the prophet as one who sees, one who hears, one who feels, one who does. God should not be limited to a box, but the way he reveals his revelations to a particular prophet can come in multiple ways. Just because I named these 7 seers does not mean you are to stick with one particular area. God can use you however he wants. But mentorship is good because you need to connect with a company of other prophetic seers. Because I know when I was younger, I didn't know what I was seeing. I just know I would see with accuracy. And I would share things with accuracy with people. But I didn't understand. But I also understood that it came with a consecrated life. I fasted more. I put the scriptures, I studied the word more. I was connected more with prophetic people. And that's what prophetic mentorship does. It connects you with people that are of like mind, that understand you're not different. You're called. You're chosen by God to help others make their way through this earth. So until next time, shalom.